man all the time. Fellas down, go away. Got it nice. Gotta crush you, gotta crush you once. Don't know what to play these games in my mind all the time. Gotta get you, your nigga lame no. You can't go, y'all want what we can't have. I just know what I need and that's you. Baby, that's you. They say what makes trash is what makes trash. Look in the mirror, girl, you can do that. You know you can do that. Gotta crush on you. Don't know what to do. Know I can get out of the way. I only want you. I need to fall through. No, we smoking on the base. Drinking on something you feel in your chest. But you ain't ready yet. I gotta crush on you. But it's lower than the price. Know that this feeling I'm feeling. Yeah, it's more than some love. And it's more than some love. Baby, just wait a minute. I read the stars. And I see a day on it. Dreaming nights, moonlights, you right next to me. Heard she a dance and showing you dance. Emotional romance and taking the pants and leaving the dancing. We can be best friends. We can be best friends. Last week I saw you at the mall, staring at a young nigga watching eyeballs. You had a vision, it was you wanna hit me in the Range Rover, rolling up weed, taking you places that you never dreamed. Licking on your pussy like it's whipped cream.
Peace, family. It's the Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Just want to say what's up to the Patreon family, patreon.com/hoodmystic. And for any other donations and things of that nature, PayPal, paypal.com/TheHoodMystic and Hoodmystic38 at Cash App. And so, no, the baby hasn't come yet. He's coming today. My wife's in the hospital. She's doing well. Everything's doing well. Everything's fine. I just came to the house to kind of prepare, pick up some stuff for the baby, get the car seat loaded in the car and things of that nature, clean the kitchen up, and do this live for posterity, just in case my son grows up and, 20 years from now he wants to look at this video and be like, what did my dad have to say about me on this day? And me being completely wrong and him laughing at me and him being like a way better astrologer, way better psychic than I ever could be. So, we're doing this for posterity. And so for the listeners, enough about me, about you guys. It's very important you guys had a pen and paper handy, because as we go through this information, it shouldn't be about how long the video is, how boring the video is. We're really talking about astrological concepts. So just imagine me as being Bill Nye the Science Guy from the hood. So take it seriously. Understand that I'm not speaking anything from my own personal conjecture, even though I'm basically taking the astrology as a pinpoint to kind of discuss the energy. And instead of discussing the energy in purely astrological terms, they call that astrologies, where people just speak in, sun trine Jupiter, sextile, and if you have it in the first house, that means that, and then they go off the Google keywords that they've seen and things of that nature. So it's important that we take the astrology and incorporate it into our normal way of talking, normal way of being, so we can understand it, as opposed to it being something that we don't understand based upon the fact that people speak it in purely astrological terms, and it makes no sense. So this is what we're trying to do. And so the title of this video is called The War on Loneliness like a play on words to the war on terrorism, and it's interesting, somewhat ironic, and somewhat of a coincidence, but there's no such thing as a coincidence that we kind of build this energy up for 9/11, where they had the, like, you know, the war on terror and things like that. But they incited it through, you know, 9/11 and the Twin Towers. Like, this started that quote unquote war on terror. Well, today we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it esoterically. We're noticing how we can begin to understand the spirituality and what this spirituality or astrology is trying to tell us in real terms. And maybe you're not lonely. Maybe someone else is lonely, and you can understand them a little more. The root of a person's loneliness, and how we can begin to minister to one another, and how we can begin to build with one another on the actual causes and the actual realizations that we can have from understanding this astrology. So let's talk about Mars, because today is Tuesday. Today is ruled by Mars, and understanding its different aspects will help us understand its energy. So the first thing, Mars is going into Aquarius. And Mars in Aquarius, I was trying to think of an analogy earlier, and the analogy that I could come up with for Mars in Aquarius is a man walking through a sandstorm, where if you're walking through a sandstorm, you can't necessarily see directly in front of you. You can only see but the amount of feet that's in front of you. You can't really project that much into the future. And if you have a problem with that, then that's your problem. But the reality is that you're in a sandstorm, and you can only take care of what's directly in front of you. So you could become a master in this sandstorm, or you could become a warrior or a dreader, because you can't see so far into the future. You know, I can't really predict anything of which is going to happen today. All I can do is have hopes and dreams and understand this energy. And so this energy is square Uranus, oppose the node, and square Venus. And so when you have this placement in astrology, they call this a grand cross. And oppositions and squares represent blockages, obstacles, things that you must overcome. And this society has put squares, oppositions, and things of that nature into the do not touch file. You should only do what's easy. You should only do what comes naturally. If it's difficult, if it comes with a challenge, you better kick that nigga to the curb. If he ain't paying your bills, opening your door, saying hi to your mama, then that nigga ain't shit. So I just only bring that up because in our relationships, we could be faced with the square. We could be faced with an opposition. And if we don't have a positive mindset, if we don't understand, okay, I'm in a sandstorm, I can't project what's going to happen in the future. I can only do shit right now. And then we have this love piece, square Venus and Scorpio, where Venus and Scorpio, if we want an analogy for that, it is the alchemical process of love. The full realization that you must love yourself above everything. When we go into Venus and Scorpio, we go into Venus and Scorpio like, you know, I'm gonna love this person. Oh, what the hell is wrong with you? You ain't doing what the hell I want you to do. I'm about to get mad at your ass because I want you to do something. But as we move through Scorpio, it's like, oh, all of that energy has to be transmuted. You have to love yourself, because from Venus into Scorpio, it goes into Sagittarius, where you're a king. You have a path and you have some shit to do. So if you got shit to do, you can't be worried about if such and such is doing the thing that you want them to do. So this energy is squared you walking in a sandstorm. What can you begin to do in this moment, in this time? And really understanding this energy, because we're not done. This is a fourfold path and understanding. All of this energy squares one another, opposes one another. And if we're not fully clear on this energy, then we're not fully clear on ourselves. And one of the main points to this energy is fear. How does fear show up in this? Uranus in Taurus, opposing Venus. So opposing the fact that you have to love yourself is the fact that there's fear there to loving yourself. There's fear in the form of change. Or, I'm not acting like we all on the dark side. Some of us are on the light side. Some of us are fully facing our fears. Some of us are fully facing our obstacles, and this message may not resonate with you. What I would like you to do is still listen and still take notes, because what you will notice is that a majority of the population do not understand this information. So if you could double down on it, if the repetitious information can kind of resonate within your heart, then maybe you might see somebody today going through some shit and you can fully understand what's the root cause of it, and it is this fear that Uranus is giving people, but it's not to scare them, it's for them to go towards it. That's the problem. We have all of these, these suicides and, this sadness and this depression and this loneliness, and the root of it is fear. Because we fear what would happen if we do the thing that our soul requires us to do. Because what our soul requires to do is outside of our obligation. It's more towards our truth. And the problem with our truth is that it pisses people the fuck off. And so if we don't want to piss people off, then we lie. Because we're fearful of what would happen if my wife knew that I wanted to have sex with somebody else. What would happen if my husband knew that I wanted to have sex with somebody else? What would happen if I told my kids they're disappointing me? So I just say good job and don't give them no correction, because I'm afraid of them coming back to me telling me, well, like, look, mom, you were on drugs for the past 10 years, so you better not say shit to me. So we live with that fear, cementing our relationships with people, isolating our relationships with people. And the reality is we could break out of that isolation by just keeping it real. And if they get mad, then that's perfectly fine, because we can't control people. What we're doing is addressing our own barriers. We're addressing our own limitations. We're addressing our own fears. And so however a person feels about that is, this whole journey for me this year has been interesting, because if you follow me on Facebook, you know that I piss people off every single day. But I'm not trying to. I'm trying to express my truth, how I see the world. And I feel that people see the world incorrectly, but I don't get mad at them for seeing the world incorrectly. I just focus on my truth, because I know the shit that they doing ain't right. I know the shit that they doing ain't working. I know the shit that they saying is wrong. So why would I engage and be trying to prove a point to them? I just stay headstrong on the shit that my spirit is telling me. And if it resonates to be corrected, then please correct me. But if it don't, I'm gonna keep going. That's Sagittarius. That's Jupiter. That's where Venus is headed. Venus got a long journey because she got a retrograde in the first decan of Scorpio. That's going to take another, 5 weeks towards the journey. But I'm telling you, by the beginning of this year, 2019, you should be fully in tune with loving yourself. Really loving yourself, really trusting yourself, really understanding this process. And this process is not for you to stay in this bubble, to stay in this fear paradigm. This process is to get out of this fear paradigm and reach people and to touch people. And that brings me to my final point. The North Node opposing Mars. The North Node opposing you walking in that sandstorm. And the North Node is your future spiritual path. It don't even necessarily have to be this lifetime. It could be what you setting forth for lineages and lifetimes. If you could just stop worrying about what's going to happen in your terrestrial life and realize that you have a spiritual destiny that you could attune to. See, we don't play about clearing. We don't play about grounding. We don't play about meditation, because we deeply need to connect to self so we could know where to fucking go. Because the reason that this sandstorm exists is because we aren't clear on our spirituality. And everything that bothers us right now, everything that disturbs us, everything that blocks us off from our truth is rooted in fear. And the only thing that you need to do, very simply, is face it. And hear those things that you don't want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Experience those things that you necessarily don't want to experience, so you don't be paralyzed by it in this moment. Because we all have our particular sandstorms. We all have our hurricanes that we dealing with. And so we send out our thoughts and prayers to, you know, the people in the southeastern parts of the United States. People in the western parts of the United States that don't know if their house is going to get burnt down tomorrow. You know, all of these things that are happening, all of these changes that are taking place on the earth, if you are afraid of what is to come, then you will paralyze yourself, thus creating more of the same energy for yourself. That's why it is so imperative to you to really focus on your spiritual truth. And all of this energy could be blocking you from seeing it because you're not supposed to see it outside of you. You have to see this energy within yourself and develop the guiding system so you know, okay, this is a sandstorm. I can't see and I don't know where I'm going, so I must trust myself. And a lot of you have clear vision and you have clear sight. So you must see these people walking in a sandstorm and begin to clear their sandstorm out. That is the task. That is the goal for today. That is the energy reading today based on the astrology. Peace. Back to the old school, because I don't really have time for preparation. I'm not even really answering emails or anything like that. I'm really just taking this time for the family and posterity to really do this. I'm gonna get back to work. You know, I'm in a sandstorm right now, so I don't necessarily know when shit is going to get back into rotation. It's just that I'm tired of making people promises and things of that nature. Hopefully by this weekend I'll be back to full motion, but like I said, who knows what the future holds. So we're just keeping forward in our connection to self and realizing that we cannot do this shit alone. We need people. And so that brings us to our first card, Fortune, which is a culmination, which is a coming together of things. This is what we call luck. You don't experience luck within yourself. It is something outside of you, an experience. Even if you find something, you know, it is a connection between you and the outside world where it is synchronicity. So let's be connected to our fortune. Let's be connected to the fact that we need to come together. You know, there is no win in your loneliness. Even if you have the, you know, biggest mansion with all the big booty girls you can imagine, 28 cars, a car for each day in February. You know what I'm saying? You on the wrong channel. 10 of this, wealth. And so we have reached the culmination point of fully realizing that our wealth is not external. Our guidance, our life, our understanding is not external. It is fully developing our inner wealth, our inner abilities, our inner applications. If you don't know shit, it's hella books on here. You don't like to read, you could learn shit on YouTube. Whatever you want, study, learn, apply this knowledge. You know, astrology, me learning astrology did not come easy. I literally just sat and wrote and learned and sat and wrote and learned and sat and wrote and learned. And now I feel as though I'm reaching a culmination point where I realize my skill. I realize my gift, because believe it or not, I didn't even realize that this was a gift or a skill that I could utilize this in my own personal and professional life. I figured it was just a hobby, something I could do for fun. But it's something much more to it's something much more than that, based upon my seriousness. So, you know, and that brings us to the 6th of this, success. And so we talk about the 3 C's of success. Sobriety. What is it? Sobriety. Oh my goodness. Damn. Can't even remember. Now I'm mad because I forgot. But anyways, basically, success is a form of sobriety and a form of celibacy, but in the sense of not wasting your energy, not wasting your time. Fornication is anytime we're using our energy and we're wasting it. Anytime we have time, which is money, which is, you know, our wealth, we just want to fuck, or just want to watch TV, or just want to chill, or just want to go out and kick it and, you know, be entertained and just have an easy life. Well, that's great, but that's not going to get you to no success. Why would you work hard to do that shit and then have to work hard to keep doing that shit? Why not focus on your time and energy and learn some stuff so you can really reach the success which is available to you? I am a spiritual person. I'm a deeply spiritual person, and this is why I do this and talk to people, because once I'm able to trigger something within you, I know that your success will be great. I see greatness in you. You need to see that greatness for yourself and realize that this shit is very empathetic. It is very you taking your time with the world and paying attention to your surroundings. That sandstorm is good, because if you had all of this expansive view, you would be looking out into the horizon and missing out what's happening right directly in front of you. Solitude. There you go. Solitude, sobriety, and celibacy. And that solitude is not separation. It is not, you know, isolation. We take time to ourselves. Right now I'm by myself, but I'm doing shit for other people. I'm doing things for myself, but ultimately I'm not going to rest in this space by myself. I'm thinking about different ways that I could connect to other people. That is my goal. I love myself, but I also love human beings as well. So my goal is to reach as many people as I possibly can with my message. You know, the 4 swords. So as we begin to, like, let's just fully understand this card, the 4 swords. At the top you have Jupiter, and at the bottom you have Libra. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe you can see it over here when it comes up. So Jupiter is our expansion. Jupiter is our Sagittarius. Jupiter is our path. Libra is us connecting to each other. The title of this card is Truce. So if there is beef, if there is problems, if there is issues, you don't get far by holding grudges. You don't get far by burning bridges and things of that nature, even if you don't deal with that person. It ain't saying that you got to invite that person over for dinner. It's saying within your heart, within your path, you realize that I'm good. And if you ain't good, then you ain't good. But if you good, I'm good, then we good. Even if you not good, we still good. Because I'm at peace with myself. It's a truce. You know, you offer a truce to somebody, he don't take it. At least he know where you stand. At least you know where they stand. A lot of times we could be in relationships and situations, and we could be even lonelier than a person who's sit at home all day and play video games. Because, you know, at least that person is staying true to himself, playing those video games and stuff like that. You around a whole bunch of people that you don't really connect to. That's hell. I wouldn't imagine. I'd rather be at home playing video games all day and not getting no love, because shit, At least I'm happy. At least I'm getting that dopamine release. You around all these people, you ain't even releasing no positive hormones. You literally killing yourself for the sake of other people. So it's important to have that truth so you can really expand to your journey. So maybe you could get attached or align with people that meet your personality profile, have the same career goals with you. Why would you deal with people who don't have the same career goals with you and have that same alignment? So if you're around a whole bunch of people who don't have the same alignment with you, they not conscious, they going to church, they eating fried food, you a vegan. Every time y'all gotta eat, they go to KFC, you gotta go to Whole Foods or some shit. Y'all wasting gas, going extra places. Y'all going 2 different directions. So how you expect to expand that way? So once you fully understand that, okay, everything is peace, everything is love. If you look at the 8 of Wands, you see on the left or the right side, there is Sagittarius there, more or less aligning with this energy of once you fully understand your path, things happen fast. The title of that card is Swiftness. If you're trying to make people happy, if you're trying to, your energy is spent 17 different types of ways, and then you still try to come to me for a reading or, figure out how to get shit popping for yourself, don't you realize that your energy is spread too thin and you need to reconsolidate your energy and focus on 1 or 2 things so you can get, a path is not, as a human being, there is no way that you could walk multiple paths in the moment. There is no way that a person in the moment could be on multiple paths. You're only on one path. If you transfer to another path, in that moment, you're still on one path. You understand? So if you're thinking to yourself that you're on a multitude of different paths, hold on a second. You're just one human being. You're in one moment in time. You have the ability to take full responsibility in this moment and make conscious decisions that serve one purpose, serve one goal. You can make all decisions based upon one primary goal, which mine is to love. I say, if love is my primary goal, then everything I do is already structured. Everything I do makes sense. If I'm not confused on my life path when I say things, when I feel things, when people express things to me, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my wife, if anything shows up weird, I'm like, okay, what's the problem? Because I only want love. So if the solution is love, then, and I just use that as an example of my life path. My life path is the path of love. You might have a whole different life path, but once you figure that life path out, once you figure that Sagittarius out, nothing can stop you. And so finally, to address this war on loneliness, we have the Princess of Swords, and she's out in the middle of the streets getting down and dirty, fighting for what's hers. You ain't taking her dude, you not taking her house. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't doing none of that. She mad, she angry, and she down to fight. The problem with the Princess of Swords is that she don't never look back and realize or readjust or re-examine what she's been fighting for. Seems as though she been fighting for the same shit since she been 18 and she 36 now. If she was to re-examine her life, she would realize she can't be saying or doing the same thing she did when she was 36. She got to turn around and readjust her whole life path. And for some people, that is too much to handle. They call it a midlife crisis. They go out buy a Ferrari. They go out buy a, go get a prostitute or something. Just do something crazy. Get 20 prostitutes. He ain't never did nothing like that in his life. It's just because he's never really re-examined his purpose. He's been doing shit to get to a point Like, I want y'all to fully understand this, because I'm trying to I understand it, but I don't feel like I'm doing my best to explain it to y'all. So let me just backtrack. You turn 18 and you have a goal to, you know, get a big house and, you know, take care of your mama or some stuff like that. But, you know, through the course of your life, it never happens. And over time, you change, your life change, you know, the things that you think change, but your overall goal is to get your mama this house. Here you are, 44, and you still working at that same job. You nowhere near close to getting your mama a house, and now you depressed. Because you had that goal to get your mom that house, and now it's looking like you not gonna be able to do it. This is where this suicide comes in. This is where this loneliness comes in, because we never fully stop to think that maybe our goals need to be readjusted based upon our understanding of self. The more that you love yourself, the more that you understand yourself, the more that you understand what you truly want. And if you come into this thing automatically knowing what you want, you're going to be really messed up. Because you'll be just simply chasing what you want, and you'll never really take into the knowledge or utilize this information. Let me give you another example, because I want to really be clear with this. For a majority of my studies, I was interested like in money magic, like, you know, trying to understand wealth and trying to make money with the magic. So I would get anything related to getting money, spells, anything that I could. Because I figured if I learned something, because I felt like I'm very good at spirituality, if I could just figure out the different ways that I could just connect the dots, if it's sigils and doing anything that I could get my hands on, I studied. And I didn't make $1. I spent more money buying the books and, you know, taking the classes and things of that nature than I ever did with making money. Because my heart wasn't pure. And as long as your heart isn't pure with this information, if you have an ulterior motive, oh, I'm only going to deal with this consciousness till I get a boyfriend. Once I get a boyfriend, I'll put it to the back. We just going to sit and watch movies all day. You know, I'm only going to do with this consciousness. You know, I can't stand, you know, what can I do to get a job? As soon as you get a job, I tell you what you do to get a job. As soon as you get the job, you know, you throw everything away. But you know, this energy helps you get a job. Wouldn't you want to learn it more and build it and understand it? And so until I realized that, this shit never served me. This shit was a hindrance in my life. I was better served just staying at church. Because until I got rid of my motives, until I got rid of my agenda, until I got rid of like these financial rewards and financial gains and, you know, love, or, you know, manifesting a woman or manifesting all of this weird shit, until I got really serious in just the action and the technique and the practice of spirituality, then shit started to happen for me. Then I got money. Then I met my wife. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't never a point of me, you know, I want to meet a great wife that's totally in tune with me and and we gonna have kids together, we gonna do businesses, and you know, I could have wanted that, and I got nothing but hood rats. Nothing but girls that broke my heart. So until I fully understand that my realization, my altar is the goal, and building that up and never turning my back towards it to fight you niggas, I just deal with, you know, it's like the Prince of the Sword. I didn't fight the world. I just turned around and I built my altar up, and that got me to the wealth, and that got me to the fortune, and that got me to the success. And so pulling these cards on this day is very important to me. So, you know, I really did this for posterity, you know, fortune, wealth, success, these principles, you know, these things, you know, they just light my heart up. So, you know, I wish that for everybody on the live, everybody that watches this video, man. Wealth, fortune, and success. You know, 9/11, the war on loneliness. Let's fight against this war on loneliness. Let's come together. Let's meet each other. Let's get to know each other. I ain't talking about today, but that's my goal, to, you know, hopefully throw like a symposium or something where I could kind of meet you guys, you know, go different places and meet you guys. Like, that is my goal, to spread this love, not to just sit behind a goddamn computer and talk shit on the internet every goddamn day. It's fun, you know, I think it's a value, but of course I want to do more, and the goal is ultimately love. And so that's my message today that I'm sharing to you guys. I hope it resonates for you, but ultimately this is for posterity, this is for my family, and, you know, keeping this thing going. I will see you guys tomorrow, where we'll really address fear. So sorry, I hate when I do that. Y'all have a good day though. Peace.